What's up? Welcome to another video in the Ideal Auto Factory. Hope you're having a blessed day and just want you to know, keep God first. Today's video is all about a certain ESC setting that I think kind of gets overlooked, but I'm going to dive a little deeper into it because I've been having a little bit of issues and I need to figure it out. So come along with me. Let's do this. Keep God first. Let's get into the video. Now, over my course of time in this hobby, I've had a lot of chassis. You say, okay, let's get ESC motor, gyro, servo, transmitter. Didn't miss anything, right? You'll let me know if I miss anything. But either way, you get those things and then you put the chassis together, you build it, and then you get your remote and you go. And you get sideways. You don't think about anything other than let's get some doors, let's put a body on it maybe. But you know, in that process, it's just that straightforward, like done deal. Sometimes you end up with a situation that means you have to change the rotation of your motor. And with brushless motors, it's pretty simple. But with brushless sensored motors, it's not that easy of a job to do. So here I have 3 different scenarios of the situation that I would like to talk about. Here, you push the spur gear forward and the car goes backward. 4-gear transmission, 4-gear gearbox, spur gear on the left when looking from the rear. Again, spin it forward, goes backwards. Belt drive, spin it forward, car goes forward. Spur gear is on the right side when looking from the rear. And then there's the traditional 3-gear gearbox here. Spur gear on the right side when looking from the rear, and when you go forward, wheel spin forward. So naturally, motors want to rotate a certain way. There are certain ESCs that don't have counterclockwise and clockwise motor rotation. And because of that, you're only able to rotate one way, forward. The ESC only knows forward with boost and turbo, and then only reverse without any of that stuff. What about this video? What's the purpose? Well, we're going to dive a little deeper and see just how true counterclockwise and clockwise rotation mode really is. This is a 3-gear chassis. You spin the spur gear forward and the wheels will rotate forward. Simple enough, right? Well, this too, you cannot swap this, basically like where the motor is, you can't swap the spur gear to the other side and use the motor mount and all that other fancy stuff because it's just not built that way. So this is mechanically only able to be used on this side. MST with their chassis, they are marketing this stuff as pretty much, hey, you can run the same gearbox, but just flip it around to run RRX. You just need to buy a little adapter piece somewhere in here. So what would happen if you're spinning this way, right? And you're going backwards, right? So you're going backwards. So if you keep spinning that same direction and you're going backwards, but you change the direction or rotate the car the other way, now you're going the other direction. Now you're going this way. So pretty much without the ability to change direction in the motor, when you put this in to the RRX position, you are now going the opposite direction mechanically than you were before. If that doesn't make sense, I'm sorry. That's the best way I can explain it right now. Specifically, what I've discovered is that the SlideTech Pro ESC does not just reverse the motor rotation and you get turbo in both directions. Even though it states there's a counterclockwise and clockwise rotation. Now, let's go into the app and change some settings. So here we have just your regular old, let's go forward, and we go forward. Squeeze the trigger for forward, and we go forward. Simple. Running, we got rotation clockwise. So now let's change that to counterclockwise. And listen to what happens. What happened to boost and turbo? Nothing. Let's go back to clockwise motor rotation here. You know, I'm going to go back to that first one. Come on. There we go. First one again. Now we're back. Listen to the difference. Now, what's up with that? Now, to be honest, I never really saw this as an issue. After I found an ESC that I trusted to have actual counterclockwise rotation. Let me show you one that does. Now insert hobby wing. This is the D10 motor and the XD10 ESC. Let's turn it on. Let's give it a trigger pull forward. Easy enough, right? Forward. Let's change some settings. See, it says counterclockwise there. We're gonna go to clockwise. Take this out now. Turn these off. And you turn it back on. Now we're going in the opposite direction. See, we're going in reverse now. We're going in reverse. I'm still pulling forward though. And let's listen. Notice we got boost and turbo, but it sounds completely different. So Slide Tech, no actual reverse motor rotation. It basically takes the sensor mode out of the actual motor and pretty much only does ABC and gives you standard motor rotation with, you know, timing advance from the cant. Now, over here on the hobby wing side, you have the hobby wing ESC, the hobby wing motor. What happens when you change the rotation of the motor internally on the ESC is you do still get turbo and boost, but it's not the same turbo and boost that you had. So what's going on and what is up with clockwise and counterclockwise rotation? So right here is the timing marks for this McLaren motor here. And you'll notice there is a 20 mark and then there is a 60 mark there. Now, when it comes to possibly reversing the motor rotation, the timing marks supposedly change from 60 to 20 to 20 to 60. And pretty much that just makes everything a little complicated. And then if you look here, you got your A, B, A, B, and C wire, and then here's your sensor wire. The sensor wire itself has the Hall sensors, so you got your poles and your Halls, from what I remember. There's a temperature sensor in here, a 5-volt sensor, a ground, and then the 3 spots here. That's why there are 6 wires on this, and depending on where that is determines which way this motor rotates and all this other stuff, because everything's in phase. You know, it's all about phases and flux capacitors and all this other stuff. Well, with all that complicated stuff out of the way, what am I trying to get to? With counterclockwise and clockwise rotation on the actual ESC, that setting itself is supposed to be something you can trust to basically take all the headache and the calculations and just the extra stuff away. You had boost and turbo going forward before and you need it again. You're supposed to be able to just switch the setting in the ESC and you're good to go. But that's not the case. And explicitly in some of these instructions, you just don't know exactly what that setting does. So Slide Tech doesn't necessarily have the actual feature. They let you change the motor direction, but you don't get turbo boost or anything like that. Hobby Wing, on the other hand, with that XD10 ESC, it indeed does keep turbo and boost, but it changes it up. So I find that to be a little troubling. And I hope that you don't really run into that issue or that you have a fix for it. Diffs that have bevel gears instead of straight cut gears, you can just swap the diff to the other side, and then now that changes the motor rotation. So sometimes you don't even have to worry about any settings at all electronically. You just change the way the diff is set up. Or, like I said before, you're flipping a gearbox, and that changes a whole lot of things, and now you need to change the motor rotation. So, Slide Tech, I hope you hear this and you fix that issue. Word on the street is that there will be an update for that, so I'm looking forward to trying that out when that update does come. But again, I don't hold my breath for any of these electronics anymore. It's just, it happens when it happens. So the Hobby Wing ESC definitely has the counterclockwise, clockwise feature that actually does keep boost and turbo. Slide Tech does not. And whether that is a deterrent for you, I don't know. I clearly don't have an issue running mine. And I haven't really had an issue with counterclockwise and clockwise rotation in a while. But when I do have an issue, I like to just be able to say, oh yeah, my ESC has that, switch, done. Not all ESCs are created equal. So, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Please comment down below whether you've had an issue or whether you don't see it as an issue, or whether you even care about the counterclockwise, clockwise feature on ESCs. Thank you again. Like, comment, subscribe. Keep God first, and I will catch you on the next video.